Alright, what's up everybody, it's Kami. Welcome back to another Super Dragon Ball Heroes guide video. Now today I'm going to be going over what I think are some of the best cards that you should be looking out for, and what are some good pulls and things like that when you're going into sets. And we're going to be going through all of these sets and just looking at cards that are great that you can get. Obviously most of the featured like secret rares, like stuff like this Vegito that have the red box around the 4 stars are going to be extremely good cards. And there's other cards that are very good that have like 1-star, 2-star rarity, 3-star rarity even, where their effects are just useful for certain things. And I've been saying this in pretty much every Dragon Ball Heroes video, and I will continue to say it all the time. There is no one definitive way to play the game. There is no one definitive way to beat things. You can substitute units for other units to have the same effects. Maybe they have different stats. Maybe they just have a different unit effect or something like that. There's like a bunch of different strategies and stuff. So don't look at this as just like the only way of, oh, only these cards are good. No, this is just me pointing out some cards that I think are good if you pull when you're hitting up these sets for some multis and stuff like that, and you got something good. So first off, this Vegito Blue is probably the best card in the game. Arguably, he's ridiculously strong. So when he's an attacker, he has this lock-on ability that will increase that enemy's CI speed and gives him 3 times damage on his super attack once only. But when he's at 10 hero energy on your own team, you get a 2 times damage boost, and you reduce the enemy team's hero energy to 0 when performing a super attack. And this effect is repeatable. So basically, he's going to hit extremely hard, especially when you pair him up with somebody like Golden Cooler, who we'll be going over later, that can also use a lock-on ability to reduce an enemy's guard to 1, which means that they are basically going to take monstrous amounts of damage. And when you have this 10 hero energy, that extra 2 times damage boost means that he's going to have a 5 times damage boost on his own super attack, which the final Kamehameha is already going to hit extremely hard. And then you will also reduce the enemy's team hero energy to 0. So this is really good for things like PvP and arcade mode, and pretty much just in general for anything. As long as you can get the hero energy on your own team, he is an extremely useful unit and definitely shines at the top when you have him under his most optimal setup of getting 10 hero energy. We also have this Fuse Zamasu, who is pretty good. I think he's like one of those low-key really good units that I don't see too many people talking about. He has this Fusion God Meteor card action ability that will reduce the enemy supporter damage reduction by 20% for the next round with the God Meteor ability, which is pretty useful. But what's really nice about him is his actual card ability. So when an attacker, if the enemy team's power level is 7,000 or higher at the end of the power level battle phase, you get 2 times damage dealt, and you gain 50% damage reduction for the round. So this is pretty much always going to activate, especially in PvP. Usually your opponent's going to have more than 7,000 of a power level, so you're going to get a free 2 times damage dealt, and you're going to get 50% damage reduction on this character for the round. Which if you stack that up with cards that can raise his guard and stuff like that, that'll be very useful. This Super Saiyan 3 Raditz has a Super Sparking right here for his card action, which will get him a 3.5 times Super Sparking damage. Because he'll deal critical damage when you get it, and it's really strong. And then his auto ability right here will give him a permanent plus 2,000 to his own power and guard at the start of a round, and he recovers his own stamina. So you can pretty much always have this Raditz just attacking and getting you a bunch of free hero energy from having his power level get, just sit there, because he's always going to recover his stamina, and he's always giving himself a plus 2,000 boost to his power and his guard. So you can really stack your guard on him on stages or events that last longer. Next we have this Broly right here, Super Saiyan 4 promotional Broly, who I didn't pay much attention to at first until I did the limited time PvP mode that is currently up right now. Unfortunately, I didn't record any videos on it because I was too busy just playing the mode, but it lets you use up to 70 cards out of a pool of cards, and you can only use each card in there once for that one battle. So you do 10 battles with 7 different cards each time, and that's when I got to make use of this Broly. So when he's an attacker and his super attack is available, you will attack a lockdown enemy and randomize that enemy's CI speed, which is once. But when he's acting as an alone attacker, he will increase his own guard by 1,500 per each enemy attacker, and you can attack 1 to 3 times, but he is unable to participate in co-op attacks, which is pretty nice. Which is the other effect he gets, but when he's alone, he will increase his guard. This is, of course, repeatable. And then he gets a guaranteed plus 1,000 to his damage dealt when attacking, and this is repeatable. So if you have this Broly linked up with somebody that gives him a super attack, you have a chance of getting 3 free super attacks, and it's an additional 1,000 damage dealt every single time you attack. So that's a free 3,000 extra damage, which is really strong. That definitely does stack up. This Xeno Goku right here is really nice just because he's a good defensive unit, since when he is an attacker, he will take minus 50% damage for your entire team for that round only. So it's nice to just use him on rounds where you want to still defend for stuff like arcade stages, where let's say you're going to kill on the 3rd round because in the first 2 rounds the arcade boss just has a bunch of damage reduction and stuff like that, or they damage limit you so you can't hit them hard. This Goku is just going to be really good for helping you stall that out. We also have this GT Vegeta who, when you win CI, you will increase damage reduction on him up to a maximum of 90%, so he can start tanking pretty good, and he also gets the 1,000 to his damage dealt when attacking, just like the Broly does. So this Vegeta is pretty good for being able to tank, thanks to his damage reduction stacking up to a maximum of 90%. That's really good. And then he also gets that extra 1,000 damage added to him. And then we have Gawasu here, who will get a minus 50% enemy damage reduction from his lock-on ability. And if your own team's HP is 50% or less at the start of a round, you gain a 50% damage reduction for your own team. So he's just really good for tanking purposes and defensive units. You know, it's pretty good. Next, we'll go on to Set 2. Set 2 has Xenocell, who is the best tank in the game. I have talked about Xenocell a bunch of times on separate videos and his own video. But basically, Xenocell during round 1 prevents stamina damage, and he reduces damage from all normal attacks and super attacks that deal over 1,000 damage to 0. So every single attack is basically going to damage cap at 1,000 against Xenocell. This is extremely good for both arcade and PvP, since it's always a free round 1 no matter what. You can just let every other character recover stamina and do whatever other auto and passive effects that they have, and just have Cell tank everything. He is extremely good. Next we have Xeno Bardock here, who will transform into Xeno Super Saiyan 3, which will give him a permanent 1.3 times damage dealt, and also will permanently make his super attack available regardless of energy requirements. So this means that he can always super attack. This is very good, and when you win a power level battle phase, you will prevent stun on him, and you also get a plus 2,000 to your damage dealt for the round. That is repeatable. So this Xeno Bardock hits extremely hard, and he's just a very good unit to pull overall. This Gine will give you a free 2 times damage boost to whatever ally you pair her up with, and also when she is a supporter, she will give your support characters an extra bit of stamina recovery. And you can use her 2 times damage boost on whatever character you want as many times as you want in an event. So she's multi-use, which is why I've always said that there are some scenarios where she is better than Grand Priest, and other scenarios where Grand Priest is better than her, but she is extremely good. Next we have this Adult Trunks, who will give you a 30% damage reduction when he is a supporter and you connect him with the link line. He's just a really good, very good defensive unit here. Really nice to have. These link units are really good, and people should definitely pay a little more attention to them. Super Mira for round 1 only will prevent enemy team hero energy from increasing based on power level, which basically for PvP is really good because your opponent isn't going to be getting any hero energy whatsoever on that first round. This automatically activates, so he doesn't even have to attack, so this is really good. And he will also get the Awoken Burst mode to do more stamina damage permanently when he does his super attack, so he's very strong. Next we have Xeno Gohan here, who also has the Max Awoken Burst mode to increase his damage, and he will permanently steal 2,000 guard from an attacked enemy when he supers, but when he is a supporter, he gives you +1 to your own team hero energy at the end of the prep phase, and this is a repeatable effect. So it's basically a free 1 hero energy at the end of each turn. This is a really useful effect and definitely should be something that people don't sleep on. It's really nice for PvP and some arcade stages where it's just required just to get that extra bit. And this cell is also really good because when you have 50% or less HP at the start of a round, you will completely recover your own stamina and permanently deal 3 times damage to the enemy. So this cell will allow you to get some extremely good damage, and he also has the hefty double attack, which will permanently make sure that you take minimal stamina damage as long as whatever unit you pair him up with, rather. for that double attack. So he is very good. Next we have set 3, which has some other extremely good units. You have this Vegito Super Saiyan 3, who I have been praising nonstop because 1, you get the super energy that gives him a 1.5 times damage boost, which is great, and 2, when he is an attacker, he gives himself 3 times his own power level and plus 2 hero energy to your own team. This is a one-time use only, but it is so helpful. That extra 2 hero energy and that 3 times to his own power level is just ridiculous. And he has this unit effect of energy charge unit, which gives you 2 times your own team's hero energy as long as you have 1 hero energy to use it. So from round 1 to round 2, as long as you have at least 1, you can double it, which would give you 2. But let's say you have 4 hero energy in round 1 and you have a Xeno Goten and Xeno Trunks on your team with him, then now you have 8. So he's a very good unit for getting hero energy. This Xeno Vegito is also extremely good for hero energy because at the end of a round, if your own team takes less than 10,000 damage, you increase your own team's hero energy based on damage taken. And this is 1 hero energy per 1,000 damage. So let's say you take 9,000 damage in the turn, then you just got a free 9 hero energy. And this is a repeatable effect. So this base form Xeno Vegito is really good. This Frieza is also another character that I probably would have not paid much attention to if it weren't for that PvP mode, and that's because that PvP mode actually made me see what the Frieza did because I hadn't used him yet. But he will give you a free super attack as long as you win CI with whatever character you have them paired up with, and when he is on the support area, he will give you an increase on your power level by 1,000 for each ally attacker for 1 round only, and you can pair him up as many times as you want to get that guaranteed super on people, and you will also make sure that you cancel all effects on that ally CI speed. So you pair him up with a character that has really fast CI speed, and they're pretty much like, let's say somebody, or you're doing an arcade stage or something, and they try to alter your CI speed to make it extremely fast. As long as you have them paired up with Frieza, then they won't get their CI speed altered at all. It's really good. This fused Zamasu right here is extremely nice. So he transforms on round 3 and gets a permanent decrease to his own CI speed, and you also get a permanent 2 times damage dealt. And then when he is an attacker at the end of the power level battle phase, he will attack after canceling enemy guard, which is extremely useful. And also if this is after a transformation, then it's -2 to the enemy team hero energy. And this is a repeatable effect. So Zamasu is really good. Next we have Goku with Arale, and the actual Goku with Arale effect is pretty decent. You have to have your hero avatar to have Arale get summoned, which will have her and Goku do a bunch of damage, but it will also deal increased damage and a permanent -100% to target's damage reduction as long as you have +7 hero energy, which is really nice. But mainly the highlight of this Goku card is that he will attack an enemy after canceling their guard and damage reduction. So if anything has a guard or damage reduction stack on it, he basically says yeah, no, and just hits them anyways for really hard numbers, really high numbers. This Demon Goddess Toa is pretty good when she is a supporter at the end of the power level battle phase. It is -50% stamina to enemy team. This is very useful for PvP, since if an enemy's character doesn't have stamina, then they're not going to be gaining much hero energy or have much of a high power level, because you need to have stamina for that. So using this for PvP is really nice. It just stops your opponent's team from doing really anything. It's really useful. And this Android 17, when he is an attacker at the end of the power level battle phase, he will reduce the enemy's team's hero energy based on the number of enemy attackers. So this is kind of like the opposite effect of what Dark Mask King gets, where when he's an attacker, depending on how many enemies are attacking you, you will get hero energy based off of that. This 17 instead will take away hero energy from the opponent based on how many attackers they have. So if they have 7 attackers, they lose 7 hero energy. This is a very good effect right here on the 17. He is a very good card, especially for stuff like PvP. He's very useful. Next we have set 4. Set 4 has Dark Mask King, like I just explained. When Dark Mask King is an attacker, he gets you 1 hero energy per enemy attacker, and this is repeatable. He is one of the best cards in the game just for his ability right here, and this will easily get you a ton of hero energy on most teams, especially for PvP. Very, very, very good card ability right here. This Xeno Turles can start hitting pretty hard, because at the end of each round he will permanently increase damage dealt and damage taken for each time you were an attacker, and he also has this -2,000 guard to attacked enemy and -2 to enemy team hero energy whenever he super attacks. So this is really good. He will start to hit really hard. You do have to be a little cautious at the fact that you will take increased damage, but as long as Xeno Turles is out there attacking, he's going to hit very hard. Next you have Mechikabra. who is one of the most top tier units in the game again. He's a special card that will give you a plus 15,000 to your own team power level, and you can do this twice per battle. So this is really useful for PvP and stuff where you want to go first or prioritize going first in an arcade battle or something like that. He is just a really useful unit for getting that up there. And Demon God Salsa is also an extremely good unit because when he's attacking, you get plus 2,000 damage to attacks against enemies with higher than own CI speed, and this is repeatable. So what you can do is you can have another card that will raise the enemy's CI speed a bunch and have his CI speed be lowered, and then you will get an extra 2,000 damage every single time since it's repeatable. So that's really nice. This Vegeta right here I showcased in a video. I can't remember which video it was right now, but I did showcase him in a video. So at the end of a round, if your own team's hero energy is lower than the enemy team's, it's a plus 3,000 to your damage dealt for each time you win CI. And this is a repeatable effect, so that's plus 3,000 guaranteed damage every single time you win charge impact, which means you're going to be hitting really hard when you super. This is very, very, very useful, especially for PvP again, where teams only have like 20,000 HP, an extra 3,000 damage. If you have 20,000, you take away that 3,000, then you have 17,000. That's a big difference in PvP. Next, this TN is really good. He has the strong and silent auto ability where at the end of each round, he will completely recover his own stamina and gain a permanent plus 2,000 to his own power level, which is just really nice when you just put him up at the front after letting this happen for a little bit. You will have a pretty high power level, and then everybody will just, be able to hit faster. And then this Xeno Trunks, I use him and the other Xeno Trunks, the Super Saiyan 3 one, a lot. Because at the start of round 2, he will return all ally CI speed to its initial value and cancel all effects altering their CI speed, and this is, of course, permanent. So this is very, very, very good for stages where cards will alter your CI speed and raise it a bunch. The Xeno Trunks basically says, yeah, no. Next, we have set 5, which is pretty much the universe God of Destruction set, what I like to think of it as, because there's a ton of God of Destructions. Actually, all of them are in there. But first off, we're going to talk about this Hit, who will give you a 30% damage reduction when he is an ally and you have him link up with somebody when he's a supporter. So this is really good. Another damage reduction unit. This Xeno Vegito is extremely good because when he's an attacker at the end of the round, you will increase your own team's hero energy based on the number of attackers on your own team. So if you have 5 units attacking, that's a free 5 hero energy. You have to keep in mind, though, that this isn't in the same round. It's at the end of the round. So you won't have this effect until the round after, but it is a very good effect nonetheless. And he also has the freeze ability, which basically gives you a free pass go, if I were to call it that. Essentially, when you're getting attacked, he will randomly just stop the enemy from attacking once, and he will also make sure that you take away 50% of that enemy's power and guard. So you'll be debuffing them and you'll be saving yourself from getting attacked. It's really good. Next we have Rumshi, the Universe 10 God of Destruction. So this card is extremely good. And I was looking at all of the God of Destruction cards a couple days ago and I pulled all of them. And I was like, all of these guys are really great, but Rumshi in particular kind of stands out. He has the Superstar Break, which is whatever. It's a -2 to the enemy's team's hero energy. But his support effect, when he's a supporter, he will cancel all damage increases for both teams for the round. So characters that rely on getting their damage increased and stuff like that, especially for PvP, this is so broken because you're basically negating all those damage increases so that you can't get one shot by really crazy setups with stuff like, let's say, Berserk Goku, for example. Rumshi basically says no. And this does affect your own team also, but this doesn't affect... this won't affect like attack boosts. This is just damage increases. So this is just really good for cards like that. And again, this is just a very, very, very top tier ability. We have this Golden Freezer right here who will recover his own stamina and take away 1 hero energy from the enemy team at the end of every round, which is really nice to just take away their hero energy slowly. This Xeno Janemba at the end of the round reduces the enemy team's stamina and the effect increases with each round. And this is repeatable. So like I mentioned before, when we were talking about, I think it was Poutine or Toa that got rid of the enemy team's stamina. This ability is also very useful for PvP. This is a very good card to just have because it doesn't matter if he's attacking or if he's on support. This just automatically activates, and the longer the battle is, the more effect you get out of this, so it's really nice. The Shamba right here, when he's a supporter, your own team takes no damage for the round from co-op attacks with 3 or more participants that deal over 3,000 damage, and it's repeatable. So let's say your opponent has 3 Berserker units that hit extremely hard. and they're all going to attack in that one turn, well, you basically damage cap their damage at 3,000, and this is repeatable. So he's a pretty good card for PvP also. This is something that, you know, I think more people should look into definitely for PvP, because it's going to stop co-op character shenanigans from, you know, doing a bunch of damage. And we also have Sieger right here, who at the end of each round will have one of these random effects occur to the enemy team. So they will either have minus 3,000 power, minus 1,000 guard, or you will reduce that enemy team's stamina. And because this is random, it's not the most reliable thing, but this is pretty good for PvP and also pretty decent for arcade modes. And he also has this limit breaker unit ability when you have Moscow and Jean on your team, which will allow it so that your entire team can super attack regardless of your key or anything like that, which is pretty good. And not key, hero energy. I need to stop calling it key. I keep doing that. But now we're on to set 6. Set 6 has some pretty good cards in it also that I think some people don't pay much attention to, starting with this Dark Demon God Boo, the Xeno Boo. And at the end of each round, if you have 5+ hero energy on the enemy team, or if they have 5+ hero energy, you will take away 2 energy from that team, and you will also get a plus 5,000 to your own power. So this will start stacking up his power up, and just by round 2, he's already got 9,300 power, and then you potentially could have just gotten a free 2 hero energy from the opponent. So this is pretty good. We also have this Topo, who I've pointed out a couple times in some other videos, because I really like this Topo. So whenever he's an attacker, as long as there's more enemies on the enemy team attacking, you get an increase in your damage dealt for the round. So let's say they have 5 people attacking. If you have Topo attacking, you're going to get that 5 times boost. Or not 5 times boost, but you're going to get the increase on damage dealt basically multiplied by 5. It's really good. And then he also has the EX Burst, which will greatly reduce the attacked enemy's stamina recovery when they are a supporter, which is permanent. And it will also permanently reduce their guard by 50%, so that's really nice. The Grand Priest is one of the best support cards in the entire game because he gives every single attacker on your team plus 30,000 power. So this just makes everybody hit ridiculously hard. And this can only be used once per battle, but it is so damn useful. He is so strong. And this Xeno Vegito is also really good because if your own team's power level is higher than 15,000, then he deals 2 times damage to the enemy, and he will also prevent stun and greatly reduce his own CI speed, and this is repeatable. So this Xeno Vegito will hit extremely hard as long as your power level is high, which if you're using a card like Mechikabra, then that will go in hand with this Xeno Vegito to make him hit extremely hard. This Goku Blue right here can transform into Goku Blue, and he will permanently increase his own power and increase your team's hero energy after he transforms. But also when your own team has 5+ hero energy, you cancel enemies' damage increases when attacked, and you cancel enemy guard and damage reduction when attacking. So this is really good. He is overall going to defend pretty decently, and he's going to hit pretty hard as long as you have that 5+ hero energy. Also, this Kale is really good. She will get a 3 times power boost whenever she transforms. And she'll be able to super attack no matter what, but she can't co-op attack, which is fine because after she transforms, you recover your own stamina and you attack after canceling enemy guard and damage reduction at the end of the power level battle phase as a repeatable effect. So Kale is ridiculously good. She is just going to hit pretty hard and just say screw defense, and it's really nice. And then we also have this Masked Saiyan card who is really helpful and has helped me out with some arcade stages because when he's an attacker, he will prevent stun for the round, and you also get a plus 5,000 to damage dealt. This is once only. This is ridiculously good because that guaranteed damage is just nice, and again, for PvP, this is really, really, really good. This is definitely a card that you want to look at. And at the start of a round, if his own stamina is at the danger level, then he will completely recover his own stamina and get, you know, a free bar of it full, which means that his hero energy is going to go up. And your power level is going to go up. It's really nice. Next we have set 7, which has some pretty decent cards in it. I want to mention this Frieza in the suit first. I mentioned that all of these suit cards, the City Life set, the promotional set from the Dragon Ball Super City Life thing for like April Fools or whatever for the Tournament of Power, all of the Universe 7 cards and the suits like the Goku, the Gohan, the androids, Krillin, Piccolo, Vegeta, they're all extremely good, but this Frieza will give you a free super attack when he is linked up with an ally, and also they all have this ability, but they recover their own stamina at the end of a round when you win the power level battle phase, and this is repeatable. So all of these suit cards can just keep hitting over and over, and they all support each other really well. They're all very good. I'm going to do a deck with all of them pretty soon, but they are very good, so that's why Freeze is here. But now we're going to actually look at the Bardock. So when Bardock has a super attack, you will lock onto an enemy, and it's minus 50% to that enemy's damage reduction for the round, and you will also greatly increase that enemy's CI speed. And when you're at 10 hero energy on your own team, you deal 2 times damage, and you also deal critical stamina damage when performing a super attack. So Bardock is going to hit hard, and he's most likely going to be stunning a lot of characters, which is really good. Then we have this Kefla here, who has the 50% or less HP counter rush, which basically is kind of similar to the freeze mechanic that we spoke about earlier, the time freeze, except this is only going to activate when you're below 50% HP, but this is just extremely good. These counter rush characters are very useful for surviving turns, and also she will completely recover her own stamina and give +1 to the team's hero energy at the end of a round. And if there is a Goku on the enemy team, this increases the effect, so you'll get like +2 hero energy, I believe, or +3. I can't remember if it's depending on each individual Goku or not, but if Goku is on the enemy team, then it does get increased, which is really nice, which most of the time you're going to be bumping into Gokus in PvP, so this Kefla is really good for getting extra hero energy. This Mira, I don't see enough people talking about on, like, you know, Twitter or anything, but he has the EX Spirit Bomb card action ability, which will deal damage, and, you know, the more allies you have in it, the higher the damage boost. But when you get an ace on it and you perfect it, it's minus 2,000 guard to all enemies, which is really nice. And also, whenever you win the power level battle phase by 2,000 or more, which if you're using the Hero of Japan module and you're limiting the opponent's hero energy or their power level to 10,000 for that turn, as long as you have more than 1,200, he will get plus 10,000 to his own power, and you will get +1 hero energy to your own team for the round. And this is a repeatable effect, so he will have 15,000 attack, and that's really strong. He will hit extremely hard, so this mirror is very good. Next we have Dark Broly, which a lot of people are asking me to do a video on him, so I'll probably be getting around to that pretty soon. But when he performs a super attack, you get an increase in damage to the enemy, and then of course when you get the super awoken burst, it'll have you do more damage, but you will permanently increase that attacked enemy's CI speed and deal critical stamina damage to that enemy. And then this Broly can't be stunned, but he also can't join co-op attacks. But when you do win CI when attacking, you will increase your damage by 500 per each enemy team hero energy. So when they have 10 hero energy, that's an extra 5,000 damage. That's really good. And you also will get a higher effect if you get a perfect CI. And I probably just botched the math. I'm sorry. It's really late right now when I'm recording. And then, you know, my brain's not thinking about the numbers right away. So if I mess that up, I'm pretty sure it's 5,000. Yeah, it's 5,000. What am I talking about? So that's a free extra 5,000 if they have full hero energy. Dark Broly is just really good in general. He's going to hit extremely hard. Next we have Hit here, who will increase an ally's power by a value equal to his own power when he is a supporter. So let's say you're using Fu on your team also, and Fu will give random allies plus 20,000 power. Well, if he gives it to Hit's power is going to go from 4,800 to 24,800, and then that is a 24,800 power boost to whatever ally you link him to, and this is a repeatable effect. So he will make people hit very hard. No pun intended. Next we have Xenoparagus, who is pretty decent. If you have your hero avatar, you will summon Dark Broly to deal damage, and this will also deal critical stamina damage to the attacked enemy. But he will prevent stun on himself, and for each time he is attacked, you increase the damage dealt by 1,000 when you win Charge Impact, and additionally this effect is increased if Dark Mask King is on the enemy team, and it's repeatable. And what do most people run on PvP? Dark Mask King, so this is going to be a very useful card for PvP, definitely with the right setup. Next we're on to set 8, which has some of my favorite cards in the game, starting with this Xeno Trunks. He has the same ability as the other Xeno Trunks that we talked about earlier, where he will return your CI speed to its initial value and cancel effects, altering CI speed permanently. But he also has the Shenron ability, which can either give you HP or stamina back, and you will also get a plus 2,000 guard to your own team, which is very, very, very helpful for just tanking extra bits of damage, since you can just recover your stamina so that you don't get stunned if you have low stamina on your team, or better yet, just recover your HP. It's very nice. We also have the Supreme Kai of Time, who also has the Shenron effect. And she will also heal you or recover your stamina, but most importantly, when she's a supporter, at the end of the power level battle phase, she increases your own team's chances of a Miracle Perfect for the round. And also, this effect gets increased as long as you have plus 6 hero energy And this is a repeatable effect, so it's basically a bunch of extra chances of miracle perfects, and miracle perfects can just happen literally whenever, and she just raises that chance. So this is pretty damn useful if RNG is on your side, for arcade stages where, you know, the CI is ridiculously high all the time and you just need miracle perfects. This is really nice. We also have Black Masked Saiyan here, who is extremely good. So when he is super attacking, you will lock onto an enemy and reduce that enemy's power to 1, which basically means they're going to hit for no damage. And after the prep phase, when your own stamina is 50% or higher, you get a permanent 2x boost to your own power and guard, and this is a repeatable effect. And also at the start of a battle, you get a permanent 1.2 times own damage dealt boost, which is really nice. So this Black Masked Saiyan Vegeta right here will hit pretty decently. Next we have Demon Goddess Toa, who has the Dark Shenron, which will either deal damage or stamina damage to the opponent, and you will also get minus 2,000 power to the enemy team. And for round 1 only, she will prevent the enemy team's hero energy from increasing based on power level. That's a very good ability. Next we have Xeno Gogeta, who, as many of you guys know, when he attacks alone, he gets plus 10,000 to his own power, and he will also attack for 3 times in that turn. So he gets 18,600 power, and then he attacks 3 times. You link him up with a character that super attacks, or that has a super attack link, like the Suit Frieza, and then you put Gine next to him, and he is going to melt health bars in story mode and in arcade mode in the right setup. He is extremely deadly, very strong, and he also has the counter rush when you have less than 50% HP, so that's very good. And we also have the Xeno Bardock right here, who has the freeze mechanic, which is really good, like I mentioned before. But also after the power level battle phase, when you have a power level of 10,000 or more, he takes no stamina damage and will also be able to super attack regardless if he has enough hero energy or not. So if you're doing turn 1 stuff and you don't have the hero energy to necessarily super, but you have more than 10,000 power level, then he is going to super anyways, and his super full charge Rebellion Edge does a lot of damage. He hits extremely hard. This Xeno Bardock is very good. And also this Demon Goddess Poutine is very good because she has the Dark Shenron Wish, and her extra effect when you have the max wish power is minus 2 hero energy to the enemy team. But when she is a supporter, just like Android 21, I believe, is what we talked about before, or Toa, she will reduce the enemy's stamina by 50%, which is extremely good for PvP. So you have Ultimate Mission 1, which is full of a bunch of really good cards. There's other cards in here that I don't have right here just listed on this deck list. But there's a bunch of really good cards in this set. But this Vegeta right here is a counter unit, and he will get 3 times extra damage when you get the Perfect Rush on his counter, which is great because he will hit very hard. And also when he is an attacker at the end of the power level battle phase, you get a permanent plus 5,000 to your own power for every increment of 5,000 in your own team's power level, and he recovers his stamina. This is repeatable. So let's say you're using this Vegeta with the Gogeta, I believe that's also in this set. Let's say you're using this Vegeta with Gogeta. Gogeta will give himself a 4 times power level increase, and he can easily get to 99,999 power level. So if you have that 9,999 power level boost, then you get plus 5,000 for every 5,000 in there, or out of that 99,000. So he will hit ridiculously hard. Like, Vegeta will do so much damage, it's ridiculous. Next we have this Future Trunks from the prison escape arc, or whatever it's called, I believe. He's got the prison gear on, and when he is a supporter, he will reduce damage taken by all allies for the round. This effect is increased for each enemy attacker that has 20,000 power or more. So he's really good for support tanking and stuff like that. It just is going to bring you a lot of extra damage reduction on all of your allies. Next we have Jiren right here, who deals a 1.5 times damage boost at the start of a battle, and this effect will increase if your own team has less HP than the enemy's team. And he will also deal 1.2 times damage to whatever enemy he targets whenever he supers, and this effect is also increased when he's attacking Goku, so he will hit Goku units extremely hard. Next we have Super Mira, who has the EX Dragon Fist. EX Dragon Fist is really nice. His will give him a plus 2,000 to his own guard, but he will also cancel enemy guard and damage reduction when attacking, as long as you win the power level battle phase. So Mira can also hit extremely hard. This Gogeta, like I mentioned, can get your power level extremely high, but he will also boost his own power level and recover his stamina as long as you take less than 5,000 damage in a round. So this is really good to pair up with Xenocell. It's going to make a lot of use out of this Gogeta. He is also very good because he just hits extremely hard with that Big Bang Kamehameha. Fu, I've mentioned a bunch of times before. His draw ability will take away 2 hero energy from the team and increase their CI speed, and you also steal about 1,000 HP from the enemy team, which is nice to just get back an extra 1k. That extra 1k does make a difference. But also at the end of each round, he will give a permanent plus 20,000 power boost to 2 random allies, and this is every round. So Fu can make you hit extremely high numbers, make your units hit extremely hard if luck is on your side, and you get a boost on, let's say, Berserk Goku. That's an extra plus 20,000 power, so he will hit much harder than already, and so will this Ultra Instinct Goku, who starts off dealing 3 times damage, but he will permanently reduce his own power and guard to 1 at the end of round 2. So this Ultra Instinct Goku is really just meant for turn 1 and turn 2 decks, where you just hit really hard, because also he has the EX burst that will do a lot of extra damage and permanently steal 5,000 power from the enemy that he attacks when he does a super. So Goku Ultra Instinct, very good, hits extremely hard. And that's it for Ultimate Mission 1. And now we have Ultimate Mission 2 as our last set of cards here. And like I just mentioned, this Berserk Goku, man, everybody knows he is ridiculously good. His EX Dragon Fist just hits very hard. You get a plus 20,000 to your own power. But you do lose 4,000 guard in the process, but he's not really meant to tank, and he's just going to hit extremely hard anyways, because at the start of each round, if you have 25% or more stamina, you permanently deal 2 times damage. He is just ridiculously hard. You pair him up with Gine and a Power Link or something like that, or a character that has the Super Attack Link in turn 1, you can just have Berserk Goku smack extremely hard. He'll do a lot of damage. Golden Cooler with his lock-on ability reduces the enemy's guard to 1 and also greatly increases that enemy's CI speed for the round, which is just nice. And he will also boost his own super attack damage dealt. And at the end of each round, he recovers his own stamina and gets a permanent plus 2,000 to your own power level. And this effect is increased if your own team's HP is lower than the enemy team's. So Golden Cooler is overall an extremely good unit, very useful. Very useful. That guard reduction is great. He gets himself stamina and a permanent plus 2,000 to your own power level, which means you're usually going to be attacking first. It's really great. Next, we have Evil Saiyan here, who will get a permanent minus 50% to attack the enemy's guard and deal critical stamina damage whenever he's hitting supers, thanks to his his EX burst. And he also can't get stunned, but he can't join co-op attacks. But if the enemy has 8 or more hero energy and you win CI, when attacking, you will permanently deal 2 times more damage and reduce enemy team's hero energy to 0. So this is kind of similar to the Vegito, but it's just a little less hero energy required for this. But that is still bringing their hero energy to 0 as long as you win CI. It's so good. Next, we have this Future Trunks right here, which when he is an attacker at the end of a round, if 3,000 damage or more was dealt to own team in that round, then you permanently increase the enemy team's CI speed and minus 2 hero energy to the enemy team. This is just really nice, because as long as you don't take a bunch of supers or something and you live, then you're going to have the enemy team's CI go up like crazy, and then they're also going to lose 2 hero energy. So this is a very good defensive unit right here. Very, very, very useful. And also he will reduce that enemy's guard to 1 when you use his Super Slash mode in round 2. This is very good. Next we have Ultra Instinct Goku, which when you have your hero avatar, he will summon Vegeta and they will do a bunch of damage together. And also it will increase the damage if you have 7 or more hero energy on your own team. But this Ultra Instinct Goku has this auto ability that will give you a really high boost with 5 times damage to your enemy and completely recover your own stamina if you start the round, or if you end the round, with less than 40% HP. So let's say you only have like 2,000 health left and you have 20,000 max HP, and then you go into, round 2. Let's say you took a bunch of damage round 1. Well, round 2, this Ultra Instinct Goku gets a permanent 5 times damage boost. So he is going to hit extremely hard, and his Ultra Instinct Super Attack is just very powerful. Next we have Android 16, who is here because he is a unit that when you link him up with another unit will allow them to get a free super attack. This has always been a very good ability. I've mentioned this a bunch of times. I love these units. They're very useful for being able to super attack without having to worry about your hero energy. And also he gets a plus 2,000 to his own guard every turn, or at the start of a battle, I'm sorry, and he will completely recover his own stamina if 3 or more allies have the same ability. So if you're using him with the other Dragon Ball Fighters cards that are in UM2, then you get that recovery, and you're going to get a higher boost on this. It's really great. And the last card that we're going to be talking about is this Vegito Blue, who, as I'm sure most of you already know, is extremely useful for PvP. So this Vegito Blue has the counter ability, which I've mentioned before is always so great. But when he is an attacker during your prep phase, he increases your own team's power level by 1500 for each attacker on the team. And now, this doesn't increase your hero energy, but this will just allow you to attack first pretty much all the time, depending on how many attackers you have. This is just a very useful ability. It doesn't require having to use somebody like Mechikabra, where it's that fixed 15,000, where his is very good. Like Mechikabra is ridiculously nice, but if you don't want to waste a slot on an SP character and you want to have somebody that can attack, this Vegeta is very useful also. So let me know if you took away anything from this video. Of course, there's a bunch of other cards that aren't included in, these are just 7 cards from all 10 of the sets. I didn't go over any of the promotional set cards because it's just a bunch of promotion cards. Like if we go, I don't know, over here, we go down to promotions in the mission number, it's just going to be a bunch of these cards, and I don't really have too many of them yet because I haven't really been pulling on that promotional banner. I've been trying to get everything else first, so that's why I don't have many of them. But let me know if this video helped you at all to just look at good cards. Of course, there's a ton of really good cards in the game, considering that there's 1,000. I have a little more than half of all the cards. I'm getting close to getting all of them. Once I get all of them, we'll be talking about some other really great cards like this Android 16, who will deal a permanent 5 times, or he gets a permanent 5 times boost to his own power if the enemy team has a Goku or a GT Goku. Like, this 16, man, that's ridiculous. That is such a nice boost. He will just hit really hard if the enemy team has Goku, and Goku is a popular character because he's Goku, so, he's going to have that high boost. So we'll be talking about other units that are pretty good and pretty slept on, and hopefully when that limited card mode comes back, I'll sit down and actually record that time, and then we'll be going over the cards as we play matches and stuff like that, and talking about some of the strategies that I might use, or some of the strategies that we might see people use against me and those PvP modes. So thank you guys so much for watching. If this helped at all, again, let me know down below in the comments if there's any other cards that you think are really good that people should look out for when they start pulling for cards in the game, then definitely leave those down below. Again, these aren't the cards that you have to immediately go after necessarily, although some of them I think you should, like going for Grand Priest is a priority, going for Berserk Goku and Golden Cooler are definitely priorities, and going for Xeno Cell is definitely a priority because those cards are just so good, and Vegito Blue. But these are all just cards that if you get in any of your multis are really good, and you can get a lot of use out of them. So thank you guys so much for sticking around. Again, if you're new, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter at FreeKuku. You can join my Discord where you can talk to me about the game, talk to me about whatever other thing you want. We're pretty chill in there. Also join the Dragon Ball Heroes Discord from the subreddit for our Dragon Ball Heroes, where more people are sharing information there, sharing custom cards. You guys get the gist of it if you've seen a couple of my guide videos. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.